With that, welcome you inside our studio in this week-ending edition of Big Ten Today. I'm your host, Rick Pizzo. It is volleyball day here on the Big Ten Network. Throughout the course of the day, you can watch classic games and championship-winning matches involving some of the Big Ten's best. But we begin with football. It is somewhat hard to believe, but next week does mark the unofficial start of the 2026 football season as all 18 conference teams gather in Chicago for Big Ten football media days. Oregon arrives as the league favorite, expected to be challenged once again by both defending national champ Indiana and Ohio State. The Ducks, Hoosiers, and Buckeyes all ranked among the preseason top 5. Touch on all those teams and more with Bud Elliott of the Cover 3 podcast on CBS. Hey, Bud, let's start at the top. Indiana defending national championship. You have the chip. You don't have your quarterback. So I think the biggest question is, how does Josh Hoover fit into what Curt Cignetti and OC Mike Shanahan want to do in replacing a Heisman Trophy winner?
I think he's going to fit pretty well, right? If you look at Indiana, they clearly had their pick of the litter of the transfer market. They know what they want to do with that heavy RPO offense as far as, making choices pre-snap and getting the ball out quick. But I think there's a lot of pieces there that can help him be successful, starting, of course, with the coaching staff. Probably a little more running from him than you saw from Mendoza. Mendoza, once he got out in the open field, he could scoot a little bit, as we saw on that touchdown in the national title game. Hoover does get the ball out pretty quick. He is mobile. I don't think he's quite as good as obviously what Mendoza was, but if he's closer to Mendoza than he is to what they had in Curtis Rourke, they should still be really dangerous.
Oregon has perhaps the best quarterback, not just in the Big Ten, but one of the best in the country, as Dante Moore is back again. But we saw Moore in some of the biggest moments make some mistakes that he couldn't overcome, most notably in the college football playoff. With everything returning to Eugene, is it fair to say that this year really is all about a national championship and nothing else for Dan Lanning?
I think so, at least getting to the final. I have Oregon as my preseason national title favorite. You recall, DeCorian Moore had to step up last year and be their number one as a true freshman because Evan Stewart got hurt and didn't play last year. Now they have Stewart back. You have year 2 of DeCorian Moore. I think you have the best defensive line in college football. I think they've done a tremendous job of scouting and developing in that secondary, which is really nasty. You saw them shut down Texas Tech in the playoff there. I think Oregon is really loaded. If the offensive line can if the replacements are solid for them, I think they're going to roll.
Be an interesting transition, of course, losing both an OC and a DC. How does that kind of affect that continuity that's been so important to Dan Lanning's success so far? Ohio State is suddenly, just a couple of years after winning a national championship, a somewhat forgotten team in the conversation when you look at what Indiana and Oregon have done the last couple of years. But Jeremiah Smith is back, is arguably the best player in the country. Of course, Julian Sayin is back as well. But if you have a big question facing the Buckeyes that Ryan Day's team has to answer, what is it?
I think it's can Sayin take the next step and carry this offense? We know with his athleticism, it's not going to be with his legs as far as creating, but can he have a little bit better pocket mobility? Find the throwing lanes, get the ball out quick, and really just become a truly elite passing offense. You have Jeremiah. You obviously have 5-star freshman Chris Henry. Brandon Ennis is back. The Buckeyes are on the very short list, I think, of teams that can truly go all the way.
And, of course, there is also offensive coordinator transition in Columbus. Once again, we went Chip Kelly, we went Brian Hartline. Now it's Arthur Smith. The good news for Ohio State, Ryan Day always has his finger on the pulse of that offense, no matter who is calling plays. I find USC fascinating. We saw Jaden Mayava take a huge step, and yet there are still questions about whether Lincoln Riley can get this team back to national championship status. What's your feeling on what the immediate forecast is for Riley, Mayava, and the Trojans?
I think Riley finally has things moving in the right direction. There were some fits and starts. I think, some of his own errors, some of the stuff that USC kind of had to catch up to the modern game of college football as opposed to just coasting on the name USC. But, they are so loaded on offense. I don't know if y'all have seen any of the clips of freshman Mark Bowman, but I think he's immediately going to be one of the best pass catchers at the tight end position in the Big Ten. They're crushing it in recruiting. I think he has things going in the right direction, but the schedule this year is not friendly. They kind of got that Nebraska-style draw as opposed to the Wisconsin-style draw. If you look at who has the easiest to the toughest schedule, at least on my projections, in the Big Ten. Can they find a way to go 10-2? I think 10-2, they're an absolute lock for the playoff with this tough Big Ten schedule. But, man, 10-2 is going to be easier said than done.
I love that Nebraska draw, Wisconsin draw. Usually when people are comparing draws involving Wisconsin, it has things to do with old fashions, not football schedules. I like both. I agree with both. Okay, so we've talked Ohio State, we've talked Oregon, we've talked Indiana. We believe that those are going to be the three teams, most people do, competing for the Big Ten and national championship at the end of the year. Is it USC, or is there another team out there, Bud, that you think could be the quote-unquote fourth team in the mix?
I think you have to look at USC, Penn State, and Michigan, right? Penn State, schedule-wise, that they really should be ripping off at least 9 wins, I think. This is not just importing Iowa State over, right? It's taking the best pieces from Iowa State under new coach Matt Campbell and adding them to an existing talented Penn State roster. And did a decent job of retaining some of those key pieces that Penn State was in love with as far as the young guys who will probably emerge this year. Michigan, too. It's hard to put a number on how much better they're going to be, but I think we can all believe directionally they're probably a little bit better organized and well-managed than they were last year. You get Bryce Underwood in his second year. I love the coordinator hires, by the way. Like Beck and Hill, I think immediately gives Michigan, if not the best, certainly one of the best pairs of coordinators in the Big Ten, and Kyle Whittingham is a proven winner. So I think it's probably one of those three if we're going to get a fourth.
And if you're going to have a competition between all the coaches inside the weight room, there's some strong ones in the Big Ten. I'm not sure that anybody outdoes Whit, who has this ridiculous streak of years consecutively every day being in the gym. I do not mess with that man regardless of age. Bud Elliott, Cover 3 Podcast. We appreciate the time. Enjoy the season.
Take care, y'all.